Hey friends, welcome back. So we are in the kitchen again today, and we decided to go ahead and show you some of our favorite grilling recipes, which I have mentioned this I don't know how many times in the last little while, but this is his wheelhouse big time. And I think through the years, I've actually talked about this many times, that at some point, Corey needs to start making grilling videos and showing you his best grilling tips and tricks, just because it's been a big hobby of his for years. So today we're gonna be showing you some grilling on just a regular grill. We're going to be showing you how we use the smoker, because we have a smoker as well. And then we're also going to be showing you some, what is it called? Over the fire.
An open fire pit.
Open
flame.
Yeah, open flame cooking as well. And we have some more videos this summer with camping and things that we will expound even more on those types of recipes. But today you're gonna get a nice overview and hopefully some inspiration. And then in the middle of it all, we're gonna get our meal prep covered for the week, and we'll be able to eat some of this food throughout the week. So tonight, yes, because we have something kind of fun planned over the fire for dinner tonight, and we're gonna show you all of that. So I feel like I'm gonna be kind of the assistant today, because he has a lot to show you guys. So what are we gonna make first? You wanna
So first we got 2 pork loins that we're gonna season up, and we're gonna wrap them in bacon. And then we're gonna put them on the smoker for probably about 2 to 3 hours, somewhere in there.
And that's why we're starting with this first, because we have a lot of other things to show you, but this is the thing that's taking the longest today,
probably.
Which isn't too bad. I mean, there's a lot of other smoker recipes that take a whole lot longer.
This goes really good with the mac and cheese I'm about to make too.
Yes. So we got a lot of great stuff. So let's pull you in a little closer. We'll show you step by step how we prep this, and then we'll go outside. We're gonna be like in and out a lot today.
Yeah. First thing I do is put a little bit of mustard on, just to keep the seasoning and stuff stuck to it. You don't have to put the mustard on, it's just kind of something extra. There are some people that prefer to not put it on. It could get a little crustier, I guess, if you don't put that on. And I flip them over, do both sides. This is the seasoned blend that I like to use, but you can use any sort of pork seasoning would probably be the best.
Okay, so now we're going to lay out the bacon. This part can be a little tricky. You can do it literally however you want to. I like to kind of weave it together the best I can, just to help it stay on here. This is actually a little bit of a thinner bacon than what I prefer. I do prefer to use thick cut bacon for this, just so that helps to hold everything together a little better. I did get this bacon in a grocery pickup, but if I was in store picking bacon to do this, I would have gotten some that's not quite as fatty, just so it doesn't fall apart. So I like to do, it almost reminds me of kind of a braided pattern with this. And so I'll kind of put some bacon going this way, and then have some going this way, and then we will lay the loin in the middle.
All right, then the last 2 steps that I do, I put a little more seasoning on top of the bacon, just to give that a little more flavor.
And you could do brown sugar over this as well.
This actually is a lot of brown sugar.
Oh, the seasoning itself has brown sugar. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Do a lot of pork seasonings have brown sugar?
Most of them, yeah.
Okay.
And then my favorite, and I got this at Costco, it's some bourbon barrel aged maple syrup. And I like to drizzle that across the top. I put the temp anywhere between 230 and 250. Obviously, the lower the temp, the more smoke I'm gonna get on them.
And you can do this on a grill too. My parents have done this on their grill before. It's just you wouldn't do it quite as long on a grill. We will leave instructions that are pretty much how we do it in the description box below. All right, we have the pork on the smoker, and we've been checking that.
And now we're gonna show you how to make a steak on open flame using our Bali Outdoors fire pit. Thanks to Bali Outdoors for sponsoring today's video. All right, so I always start with salt. I use plenty of salt. Some people might say it's too much, but I don't think you can ever have too much salt on a steak. Just gives it that extra flavor that you need. And it definitely tenderizes the meat. Then I hit it with my Kinder's prime steak seasoning. Pretty lightly, both sides. And then I like to put extra garlic powder on because that just, you can never have too much garlic either. Just gives it a great flavor. I'll put on some black pepper. And of course my Montreal steak seasoning to top it all off. So I got my fire at, I would say, a medium to high temp. I prefer to cook my steaks at a higher temp just so I can get the centers like a medium to medium rare. And you can adjust it according to the heat, obviously. Then you can adjust it by just pulling this small peg out, and it's pretty much just a stopper so it doesn't drop any further. And as the fire dies down, you may have to lower it.
The Bali Outdoors 40-inch outdoor wood-burning fire pit was very simple to put together and is the perfect companion for all of your backyard activities this summer. It has a high heat output as well as a unique mesh design for increased airflow and efficiency. We love creating mountain pies on summer evenings, and this is the perfect tool to do just that. So check out Bali Outdoors in the description box below, and I know that you will love it as much as our family does. When steaks are made over an open flame, it just gives this delicious, very wood-filled flavor. We love doing steaks like this, and I am amazed at how different it tastes from a traditional grilled steak. So the next thing we wanted to do was focus on showing you all how to grill up some veggies with a new little tool / trick that we have really fallen in love with using. So we're going to do up some sweet potatoes. You all have seen me do diced sweet potatoes in the oven many times, but let me tell you, the sweet potatoes put on the grill are like unmatched. They are so good. We all ate this roasted veggie combination up so quickly. It was like we had gotten candy or something. Everyone could not stop picking at it and just eating all the goodness. So Corey is going to toss the sweet potatoes here, some of the Kinder's buttery seasoning, and of course we're adding in olive oil as well to make sure they are well coated. So our new favorite hack or little trick to use with roasting veggies are these, they're supposed to be disposable racks that you can put on to your grill. Walmart carries them. I was able to get them in 3 packs, even in my grocery pickup. The reason I'm saying they're supposed to be disposable is you can definitely reuse these multiple times. They're nice and lightweight, and we did make sure to coat them with some oil before putting the veggies on just to make sure that nothing would stick. Now, the next portion of veggies that I'm going to whip up is I chopped up some zucchini, and it has been a long time since I have grilled summer squash or zucchini, and I forgot how much of a treat this is. We're going to be doing this all summer long in our summer grilling nights for sure. We all enjoyed this so much, and I forgot how it helps the texture a lot. When you stir fry zucchini, generally it sort of gets a little soft and squishy, whereas when you grill the zucchini, you actually toughen it up just a bit to where it holds together really well. And since we are actually using the smoker setting on my husband's grill / smoker, a lot of this yummy flavor we were getting in the veggies also came from the smoker setting as well. And then I just chopped the thicker ends off of the asparagus. Those are a little bit better done kind of stir fried on the stovetop, and they soften up a bit better, so you can save those. But for the grill, these were so delicious, and I did go heavy on using the garlic powder and salt, so basically garlic salt on those asparagus pieces. So at this point we were ready to take off the pork loin, and you guys, it tastes just as good as it looks in these clips.
so delicious, and the outside was just crunchy and perfect. And next we put the grilling baskets of veggies onto the grill, and this is such a good way to prep up a ton of veggies and then just pull it out, throw it in the air fryer, throw it in the microwave, throw it in the oven to reheat throughout the week, and you have a lot of great veggie sides. So while those were in the smoker / grill, I went ahead and started on making up this cheese sauce for our grilled mac and cheese. So I start out with a stick of butter or half a stick of butter. It depends on how much cheese sauce you need, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the consistency here in a moment. But I never use a thickener in this just because we eat mostly gluten-free, and I found a trick, and my trick is using cream cheese in the base of my sauce. And so we're going to be making this with a gluten-free pasta. So I start out with putting some milk, butter in the pan for the sauce. Then I add in the cream cheese and allow that to soften. So that cream cheese is going to give a good base to thicken the creamy sauce without having to add flour or something like that. Yes, occasionally I will use things like cornstarch and whatnot, but whenever I can find a way around it, I definitely like to do that. So we're going to do a mixture of cheddar cheese and Gouda. Gouda, in my opinion, gives such a creamy, yummy taste to mac and cheese. And the trick to making the sauce is to really have everything on a low, slow heat and to just keep on whisking. Now, wanted to note, I made this sauce with a bit of extra milk, and I mix actually almond milk and heavy cream because we don't use a lot of just regular milk in our house. So working with what I had on hand. And the reason for that is because as it sits in the grill, it's going to lose moisture. And so to be able to allow it to sit in the grill and get all of those smoky flavors, we want to make sure it has enough liquid in the cheese sauce. So adding a little extra than what you would do if you were going to eat this right away. And then we topped it off with some more shredded cheese, and Corey put some gluten-free breadcrumbs on top to give it that extra texture and crunch. And then here's a little look at our veggies that we pulled off of the grill, and they were very picked at because everyone could not stop eating them. So I had to get a quick clip before they were all eaten up. After I pulled those off, we went in and started in on making up our kebabs. Now, kebabs are something that's very flexible. Most of these recipes is just to spark you guys into being interested in learning more grilling techniques. This is sort of like dipping your toe into getting excited for grilling this summer. We want to expound on this series of videos and do much, much more. So if you have any requests or things that you would like to know how to grill, since we've done a pretty big variety of things and learned a lot, let us know in the comments. So you can take these ideas and kind of run with them. One of them being kebabs or skewers. There's different names that people like to call these. And I'm just using a sweet chili sauce, and then I use a little bit of liquid aminos, and liquid aminos is very similar to soy sauce. And so I'm just mixing those two things together, and that's what I'm going to use as a base for my chicken. We're gonna just use some chicken tenderloins and some peppers and onions. And y'all, I actually bought a pineapple to put on these skewers and totally forgot in the middle of our busy day to cut up the pineapple. So these were supposed to have pineapple on them. We ate the pineapple for breakfast the next morning, is what it is, but you can add pineapple, you can add different proteins to this, you can add mushrooms, broccoli, all the veggies that you want, any types of veggies that you like. You could even do pieces of sweet potato, as you just saw. Lots and lots and lots of options. Just go on Pinterest or go on Google and look up skewer recipes, and you will be inspired for days, I promise. But these are so fun to eat, and something that has completely changed the game for us are these metal skewer sticks, I guess. I can leave them linked below. They are from Amazon, and a couple cautions I would give you. The end of them are very pointy, so if you have small children, you want to definitely make sure that that you remove the food from the sticks before they eat them. And then also they are metal. So when they come right off the grill, they're going to be very hot and you don't want to touch them right away. You want to let everything cool. But the reason I say they're such a game changer is they are so fast and easy to load up. Whenever we would use the wooden ones, which we have some left, so you may see them pop up in a video here or there just to use them up, you have to soak them in water, number one. And also you have to really push the food onto the wooden skewer stick. I mean, I've gotten splinters or almost splinters from trying to do that. And so these metal skewers are so easy and you can wash them and reuse them and you don't have to worry about picking up skewer sticks when you want to make skewers. Moving on to what we decided to make for dinner. We felt it was super appropriate this day with all the grilling that we show you one of our family's favorite summer dinners. And actually this is a big tradition in Corey's family, and that is to make mountain pies. Now, I did not grow up making these very often. We did on occasion, but you have to have mountain pie makers that go into the fire, into your campfire. And there's so many ways you can do this. You can go crazy, just like with the skewers. You can change it to your liking. So my husband would have grown up eating this with kind of pizza ingredients is the best way I know to describe it. You've got pizza sauce. Sometimes we will fry up ground burger or sausage. You can do olives, you can do mushrooms, you can do mozzarella cheese, ham, you can do onion, all the yummy things. You can fry up peppers and onions. So everything that you love on pizza, you can do in these. Also, you can do ham and cheese. You could create them around the things that you like in a panini. So you could do things like avocado or turkey or roasted red bell peppers and those types of things. Obviously, the cheese options are endless with this idea, but all of it goes between 2 pieces of bread, and generally we like to use white bread for this purpose. Now, one tip I will give you, as much as I'm an advocate for using good oils, staying away from seed oils, all of that, you guys know that. I mean, in all of my videos pretty much use olive oil or avocado oil, those types of things. However, we have yet to find a good healthy spray that works well in mountain pie makers. Generally, with the olive oil spray and those types of things, I think with the high heat of the fire, it just does not work. And oftentimes the bread ends up sticking inside of the mountain pie maker. So we do end up using a vegetable oil or canola oil spray just so that we can get them out of the makers. If you guys have tips, definitely let me know. But this was just, like I said, dipping our foot into the grilling things. And we hope that you enjoyed this video and love to hear your feedback on doing this. It helped us meal prep for the week, which was great because we could reheat a lot of those proteins that we made up. And we are so excited. There is so much fun summer food and food preservation projects coming up, so stay tuned. We love to can and freeze around here, and I'll see you all in our next video.